As you might be aware, I am a geek of human behavior, and in particularly, I am really fascinated and involved in psycholinguistics. What is that? That is really how the words that we use influences the brain and influences behavior. So on April 16th, I'm hosting a masterclass which is all about psycholinguistics for business. So how the words that we use influence our clients and our potential clients' behavior, and how that helps us enhance client loyalty and our conversion rate. So this week, to put us kind of in the vibe, I decided to present you a book that I really like, which is all about Exactly What to Say by Phil Jones. So it's a beautiful book. Seriously, you can read it in one evening. It's done. And what I particularly like about it is that it's very practical. A lot of books on psycholinguistics and language are very abstract, where you get the concept, but this book is really practical, which is, connects with me because I'm an action-driven person. So I like things to be concrete, where I can actually do something with it. And that is also how I work. So that is fundamentally how I operate. So I love how actually right off the get-go, he opens his book. And the first sentence of the book is, the worst time to think about the things you are going to say is the moment that you are saying it. Which is so true, because when we're about to meet a client to work on a proposal, or to sell them on an idea, a recommendation that we have, or that we're sitting with a potential client, often we have an idea of the subjects that we want to address. But rarely do we actually take the time to say, okay, how am I going to say it? Because even if you have the best strategy, the best solution, what really matters for the person to be able to make a decision and take action upon your recommendation is how you are going to say it. The words that you're going to use, how you are going to structure your sentences, even the tense of the verbs that you're going to use. So, like I said, very practical book. So let me share some of the examples that he shares, that he brings up in the book. So the first example that he brings in the book is, I'm not sure if this is for you, but what happens when we have an idea that we want to give a client and we go, I'm not sure if this is for you, but what it does, it actually, the unconscious part of their brain really relaxes, and there's like, okay, you know what? There's no pressure here. I don't know. I can say no because he doesn't know, she doesn't know if this is for me. So starting your conversation when you want to sell an idea to a client or a potential client on, I don't know if this is for you, but, is a really nice way to really, like I said, stop that inner critic, that judgment, and that ego that we all have, and really brings an opportunity to bring in an idea that maybe they never thought about it, but somehow this time by using this sentence, their mind opens up to whatever the idea and the recommendation that you have for them. In the same line, the second suggestion that he gives us is how open-minded are you? So everybody wants to be open-minded, right? Nobody wants to be known as a closed-minded person. So we all want to be open-minded. So again, if I want to bring an idea to a client or to a potential client, and I maybe feel that they can be friction, by starting then that part of the conversation of how open-minded are you on this dilemma, on this idea, or on this dimension, then the people will say, well, obviously everyone's going to say yes, guaranteed. So if I use it in my context, I would use it, and I use it in a sentence where I want to talk about business, where we're talking about business development, and maybe want to open them up the idea of how open-minded are you about maybe doing an event, an online webinar, or some type of online conferences for your clients, because they need to see you right now. Right when I bring that idea, the person will put themselves in a position of being open-minded to the idea that I have. Now, on the other hand, when you want to bring an idea that people don't know about, what he suggests in his book is, what do you know about? So if you think that there's a topic that you're going to be bringing up to an idea and there's going to be objection. So let's say I talk with a client, I want to talk to them about social media, but I kind of have an idea that they have objections and beliefs around social media. So I would probably start my sentence, which I do. So my clients will recognize some of the sentences that I use here. And I would start a sentence with, what do you know about LinkedIn? What do you know about Facebook? And then I would get all the beliefs and all the objections that they have on that topic, and then I could address them right away. Another sentence that he has in his book that I particularly enjoy and that I really use because of different facets in terms of human behavior is, how would you feel? So our body has way more memory than our brain has. And when we actually feel something, then half the job is done. Like, we make decisions by the emotions, by how we feel. So how would you feel if we solve this issue for you? How would you feel if you, and the example he brings in here is like, how would you feel if you would bring your kids to Disney next year? How would you feel? So it allows the person to get out of their head and really go into their body, which is where we actually make decisions. So another one that you want to jot down is, how do you feel? Another situation where we find ourselves in business is that we get answers such as, I didn't have time. I didn't have time to return your call. I didn't have time to look for the documentation you asked me. I didn't have time to sign the documentation you asked me. I did not have time. So instead of knowing that you will most likely get that answer because I don't have time and I don't have money, or the biggest excuses that we always hear, is start your sentence with, when would be a good time? So I don't have time to talk to you right now about this. Perfect. When would be a good time? I don't have time to pull out the documentation right now. Perfect. When would be a good time? What happens here is we're helping the person commit to creating that time to take our call, fill out the documentation, look up for the documentation, book a meeting. They actually are going to commit to it. Because the reality is, when our business is on guidance, when we're service-based entrepreneurs, we know that the recommendation that we have, the guidance that we have really can help people. But we're often, humans are stuck in behavioral patterns. So part of our role as a trusted advisor is to bring them to that tipping point where they're stuck from their limiting beliefs or patterns that they have to that world of possibilities. So I often say our role is to bring them from probabilities to possibilities. That is our role. So if you are a service-based entrepreneur, if your business is centered around giving guidance, giving advice, first, get this book. Super practical. He has in total 23 of these sentences. I'm not sure if this is for you. How open-minded are you? I'm just curious. Just imagine. And he has plenty. Obviously, there's hundreds and hundreds of books out there that do talk about these sentences and these words. But what's really particular about this one, and what makes this one outstanding, in my opinion, is that first, it is short. You can read it in an evening. And second, it is practical. He gives you scenarios, how you would use the sentence, how could you use the sentence, and he really gives you a concrete example that you can take with it. So when you run a service-based business, when you're selling intangible, your best tool, your number one tool, are the words that you use. That is how you're going to make somebody and help somebody take action on your recommendation. So here's my recommendation this week. So first, get this book. Very practical. I'll put the link in the video comments so you can find the book easily. Second, register to our masterclass next Friday on April 16th, all about psycholinguistic, how the words you use influence people's behavior. Because at the end of the day, your clients won't be thankful because they got information from you. They will be grateful because they got a transformation from you. And this is so often where we help them realize things that they didn't even think were possible. And seriously, that is our job, is to help them pivot into that world of possibilities. And our tool number one in business are the words that we use. So make sure you get the book. Make sure you subscribe to the masterclass. I hope you liked this episode. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. These episodes, we really do them to help you, give you more tools. Let it be in for your marketing, your productivity, your mindset, to help you build and grow your service-based business and make a difference in the lives of your clients the way you want to make a difference in the life of your clients. So thank you for being here week after week, and I will see you next Tuesday.